So first our USP is we mentor the startups, we handhold them, see that they get into the right track, and the second one is the money. Suppose the startup companies are early stage, they are not able to get the funding. Like a patient, for example, our Dr. Chowdary is there, he is founder of Global Hospitals. The patient is in the ICU, what he requires is rich oxygen. Oxygen is the money for the startups. So that's where through ISF angels, we are able to give a lot of, not a lot of money, maybe up to 50 lakhs to $1 million also we are able to fund for certain companies. And so far, about 70 crores have been invested already in these startups. And that is the second aim. The third aim is the market access. The market access is the one where many people they fail. And we are able to handhold and take them to the markets, whether the defense, aerospace, or to the retail segment, wherever they required, we use our network to see that they get the market connects. So with this, I request Dina to come and tell about this conference which is happening next month. So how many companies have started pitching to the pitch contest, and what is the process? How many companies are going to be selected? What is the number of juries that we have? And how many CXOs and GCs are going to be part of the conference? I request the details to be given by Dina. Please start.
Thank you, Jay. So, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, just about noon. I'll do 2 or 3 things. One, talk a couple of minutes about what is the space that we fill. This whole startup space is getting noisier and noisier. There are a lot of things happening. So we need to have our approach, at least in the mind, for the field. I think we did that about 2 years ago. But now take that into action, into the field. Which we are doing now, very highly successful. I think the strategy has worked out extremely well, and let me spend a couple of minutes talking about that. So what is it that we do? How are we relevant for startups? I think for some of you are new, that we maybe I'll spend some time on this one. See, there's a large number of startups coming into the space. People want to be entrepreneurs at a very young age. They were in college, they want to be entrepreneurs. They work for a few years in the industry, they want to be entrepreneurs. People have gotten fed up with whatever they're doing, they want to be entrepreneurs. People retire, they want to be entrepreneurs. So there's a whole range of population that's coming into the startup space. And they need the 3 M's that Jay just talked about. They need money, some of them put their own money, the bootstrap startups, but they eventually reach a point where they need someone else's money. They need mentorship, and a lot of entrepreneurs actually think initially they don't need mentors, but then they actually realize when they hit a roadblock, they do need mentorship. Then they need the market access, right? So enough is happening from that side also. There are enough investors, there are VCs, there are others coming in, bringing the money. Enough people coming in wanting to do mentorship. Enough people either as a service or as their contribution into the space, they want to give market access. But some of this happens systematically, some of this doesn't. If you look at the money, the people who are very structured, the institutionalized investment arms, like the VCs and family offices, the private equity players, government officiated agencies giving grants, they have a certain fixed model. They cannot deviate. Now take this entire space of startups, which is where I'll give you some statistics. Jay wanted us to talk about how many startups are coming. The actual number from what we look at is about 141,000 or change as of this morning. So where do they come from? There are about 130 or so thousand registered, DGIIT registered startups. So it's easy to get that count at least, if not the full data. So we have the count, but we also have the data because we have a team working on it. And the remaining are the non-registered. The non-registered can be a big number, but it's difficult to get them because they're not registered in a systematic way. We'll eventually get them. But 141,000 startups, if you take that and map that onto this space of who are giving structured money help, structured mentor help, and structured market access help, about 60% of the startups will fall out of those 3 boxes. Then these are the orphans. Nobody wants them. Some people have published thesis and some people have unpublished thesis. So outside the 4 walls, the thesis may be this kind, that kind. Inside the 4 walls, the thesis could be if you're 130, if not 130, if you're not from IIT, if you're not working from this, you're not in, right? So these things actually exclude a big percentage of those who are in the space. 60,000 startups. Now, we can't tell that all these 60,000 are not really deserving, right? And a good number is a very, very deserving set of startups, but how do you find them? And if I have to summarize ISF's vision, that is number one, it is to help the startups that nobody is in a position to help. And I think we've proven that over the last 2 years. So that is our actual focus. And it becomes possible because of all these things that people sit here and probably wonder, why are you doing this? Like, so why are you doing this Ankura Yatra? You know, there is a big reason why those 60,000 people are not, spotted by anybody and not, helped by anybody, because they're just not there. So you have to go there. They won't come to you. They are not in a position to come to you. So we have to go there. So there are a lot of these, initiatives. In the positive time, I'll not go through the whole thing. So that's our primary focus. But then, if they don't fall into the structured money box, where will the money come from? And we actually found a solution. We created an arm of ISF or ISF Angels. Then we went to people who are not yet in the institutionalized investor mix, the HNI, the industrialists, the people who want to get into this for one reason or the other people who don't understand this. We have to spend a lot of time. We actually spend time on 3 continents, in India, in Europe, in US, and we have been in Jamaica, and we had a conversation with 50 people there saying this is why you have to invest in startups. And those are the untapped money sources, right? So we bring that into the mix. Now that is what makes ISF tick. So we get the startups that are usually not supported by the established system. We bring in the investors who are not yet part of the established system, and we bring in some enlightened souls. We have actually 300 CXOs in our network, and they will all be there at the September conference. And those are the people who will actually give them market access, and it happened. They actually stand up and say, look, you know what, I have a budget, where I can actually take a bet on something innovative, right? And if you qualify for that, we'll be your beta customer, you will be your paid customer, you will be your paid pilots. And we have made dozens and dozens of that happen. So that is our overall context. So we take these startups that very people are willing to help. We take the money sources that are extremely hard to get to, and we weave a very, very good support system of these business leaders who are willing to provide the startups with market access, and that's how the 3 M's become possible. So we start with 140,000. Then we try and see who are those 60,000 who are not in the good boxes established already. Take that 60,000. First year when we did this, we were also learning, we are not perfect. So we got 1,173 startups, right? And we actually picked up 150 of them, put them on the first day of the conference, picked up the top 10%, 15 of the startups, and some of them were probably right here, and we got all of them supported on those 3 years. Right? The next year, repeated, and that worked equally well. This year, we got the 141,000 in the first step, about 50,000. Now we've gone down to the last 10,000. Between now and September 26th, we'll be picking the top 100. Spread across 20 rooms. There will be 20 rooms on that day, with investors pre-selected sitting in that room, listening to these top 5 startups in each sector. So 20 sectoral rooms, 5 in each, the top 100, best of the startups that nobody knew about. And first time when we did it, because we were also learning, we exposed them on that day to the investors. When we learned that exercise become what we call as the opening, exercise. This time, I think we have moved to a stage where we want that to be the closing, meeting. We tried that last time. We signed 155 term sheets that day in the last conference. I don't think any conference in this country got 155 term sheets signed on a single day, and it took us 45 minutes to do that after the big session. So we are going to repeat that. So that day, what will you see on September 26th? The startups which are selected from this full list of 146,000, down in the first round to 50, then 10,000, 50,000, then 10,000, and then the last 100. So 1,000 and then the 100. So those 100 you'll get to see them. Many of those who don't make it to that 100 will still be there because they are actually waiting on the sideline. And while Jay used the term pitch contest, one very interesting thing I've seen, there are startups that win the contest, and there are startups that get the money in the bank, right? And usually there may or may not be a correlation, but we get that done, right? So that will happen September 26th, 9 a.m. the session start. We break for lunch at 1 o'clock. In 4 hours, we will be closing the 100 deals, and that essentially is our annual goal of startup. So anything else you want to cover there? You can cover the rest. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all the perspective. While these two have covered most of the stuff, I'll give a couple of statistics of the conference that we are getting into. See, last year, in this flagship conference, we had about 2,000 participants attended for our conference. But this year, we are expecting about 4,000 participants to, across the globe, and more than 500 people around the globe has already applied for this conference to attend this from 20 plus countries. See, while our conference have a typical kind of roundtables, but we also have a couple of unique roundtables where we claim that nobody else has been doing this. Those two are Rural Economic Forum and Unicorns. I'll just take a minute to explain about both of these. See, we know that urban things have been already thresholded. Many startups and a lot of innovation has been thresholded. There is a lot of untapped rural innovation that you need to focus and support it. So that's where we want to, we have focused a roundtable called Rural Economic Forum. And one more thing is Unicorns Roundtable. We feel that age group of 8 to 16 or 8 to 18 is where we need to support the young entrepreneurs to get a lot out of them. So a lot of discussions will be deliberated around this two roundtables. While we have other roundtables like agri-tech, fintech, all these also would be there. And 250 plus global speakers would be attending this to participate in 15 plus roundtables and 10 plus investor corporate connect sessions. This investor connect and corporate connect sessions will help the startups to understand how the ecosystem works basically on both ways, from the startup perspective and also on the investor perspective, and also to get the market access for them from the corporate perspective as well.
So our Ankura Yatra, basically concept of Ankura Yatra is to identify such rural entrepreneurs. There are so many people who are actually struggling in the rural areas. They have a lot of ideas, they have a lot of products, but they can't go to cities like Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad and all that for various reasons. That's the reason why first time in the world ISF has taken all our investors, all our CXO leaders. They will be traveling along with the rural entrepreneurs like him in the same buses, and we will go to different places, Tier 2, Tier 3 and Tier 4 towns also. And first pilot is going to be in Andhra Pradesh state, starting from October 1st, 2nd. Honorable Chief Minister Chandrambabu Naidu Garu is going to flag off all the buses on Gandhi Jayanti. Why we chosen Gandhi Jayanti is Mahatma Gandhi always believed in Gram Swaraj. Fundamentally, he wanted to enrich the rural economies. That's what meant his concept, Khadi, Gramojyoja, all those things which he wanted to build that kind of ecosystem. Unfortunately, other leaders could not take that concept forward. That's the reason why today we are seeing a lot of issues in the rural areas. Unless we upgrade them, unless we create economic activities in the rural area, there are so many entrepreneurs like him, they are all struggling in the rural area. We have to give them the market access, give them the lift, see that they create jobs, they create wealth in the rural areas. That's what Ankura Yatra is trying to do. In fact, Madam Priyaji was telling that I come from Bhadrachalam and Khammam, and there are a lot of startups we can promote in my town in Khammam district. Madam, that is the concept. People who belong to the respective areas, they have to own up. They have to go to those places, identify who are those entrepreneurs in that area. In fact, I'll tell you, when we had a startup boot camp on a boat, and we converted the boot camp to boat camp in Bhadrachalam, and we hired two the cruise boat. So in that boats, we had people coming from almost 5-6 countries. 20 countries. See my knowledge of work. So 20 country people, CXOs, investors, they were all there in Bhadrachalam. They got onto the boat, and the local startups, they are also there. And fortunately, unfortunately, no cell phones worked while these boats were traveling on the river Godavari. So that time, the investors had to listen to the pitches of those startups, and many startups who presented, they have got funding. So that same thing we are, instead of going in the boats, we want to take these entrepreneurs, CXO leaders in the buses into the respective villages and towns, and during the journey, these startups will be making their pitches, and people like the investors who are there in the previous session, they will be more than happy to listen their pitches and also mentor them and see that how they can be supported. So this is the first pilot we are doing it in Andhra Pradesh. Second pilot will be done for the state of Telangana in the month of December. Lot of people from Telangana state who are there in Washington DC and various places in United States and also Europe, they are all planning to come in the month of December. Similarly, whatever we are doing in the Andhra Pradesh state, same thing we will be doing it for the Telangana state in the month of December. Next year, we got an invitation from Gujarat government that they wanted our ISF conference, ISF 25, will be next year will be in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, and we will also be doing Ankura Yatra for Gujarat state. So that's how we are going to moving from one state to the other state. See that the awareness and bringing everybody. We believe our Honorable Prime Minister always talks about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Not only the startups in India, but startups elsewhere also. In fact, when we were there in New Jersey, there are about 10 startups from America. They pitched for us. They wanted us, ISF angels, to fund them. Some of them we are getting the funding. We are also getting the market access. And same thing is going to happen when we go to Australia, London. Those startups we are helping. And when we go there, we also take our startups from Hyderabad, and Indian startups will go to US or London or Jamaica, wherever it is required, so that they can have access to those markets. See, market access is the most important. That's where ISF is very strong at. We got a very good connect all over the globe, and our mentors are all more than 350 global mentors. Every week, every Saturday, 8:30 to 9:30, they participate in that one company. They give a presentation, and whatever the funding required, they are able to announce the funding on the spot, and also they are providing the market access. So that is the USP of our ISF so far what we have been doing. And before I close, we are also thinking about today the main problem for startups. When I interacted with some startups in IIIT Hyderabad, some startups funded by our Success Innovation Fund and all that, they are all facing big shortage of manpower. I asked one of the startup companies from IIT Madras, since I come from IIT Madras, when I interacted with them, they said, sir, there is a huge shortage for us. I asked why you are in the ecosystem of IIT Madras and why you should have all the creamy layer available in IIT Madras. No, sir, to get them, they are asking 40 lakh salary or 1 crore salary. We don't have that kind of money. We ourselves are not taking the salary. How can I give salary to such people? So whereas we can't take the people from other engineering colleges because they are not suitable. They have worked in innovative areas and all that. So that's becoming a big problem for many good startups. So thinking that how ISF can solve, we are already incubating an idea. Why don't we create ISB kind of institution for the startup school, entrepreneur school of entrepreneurs, and we will take all the engineering college students, third year, fourth year, all the displaced or laid off employees from startup services companies. We will put them a 6 months or 1 year program at Sri City. Why Sri City? Because there are 250 manufacturers are there, manufacturing companies from Japan, Korea, Taiwan, all those manufacturing companies are there in Sri City, so that they get exposure to what's happening in the manufacturing, what's happening in the various domains of the industry, so that these people who are going to this institution like ISB, they will not get any theoretical classes like other engineering colleges and all that. We give them the problem, and while solving the problem, they have to learn everything. And we are going to create several verticals. One vertical will be healthcare, another vertical could be media tech, another vertical could be agri-tech. For example, morning only I was talking to Dr. Mr.JA Chowdary Garu. He immediately agreed, yes, our focus is on the healthcare. We will be more than happy to own that vertical, and thank you, Dr. Garu, because he has got a lot of use cases to be given to those people who are coming to that school. And when solving that problem, they will not only get the prompt engineering, how to use the AI tools, and how the domain works in healthcare and all that this thing. Once they come out of that, they will not only get very good jobs in the startup ecosystem, plus some of them may become startup entrepreneurs. Similarly, when I was talking to ITC Agro CEO, Mr. Shivkumar, he said, yes, ITC Agro will will pick up agri-tech as well as food technology, and we will support that track. And Prasad Bonga, who was there, one of the VCs, he said, we'll take the media tech. So like that, we are going to give the ownership to different people, because we cannot do everything by ourselves. Similarly, if Vicky Flow wants to take one vertical for whatever the vertical you choose, we leave it to you, and you own. You bring all the women entrepreneurs to that, would-be entrepreneurs, or the employees who are going to be used in your startup companies, because that is a big shortage at this point of time. So like that, ISF is trying to identify. Once we identified early stage funding is an issue, we started ISF engines. Once we identified manpower is an issue, now we are setting up ISB kind of institution for a startup school in Sri City. Once we identified market access, we now got connected globally, and all the CXOs and global CXOs, they are all coming to our conferences, to September conference. All the startups can, for example, the startup from Hyderabad, he can't go to Silicon Valley or New Jersey to meet those CXOs there. It's very costly. When they come to Hyderabad, obviously they can go and meet them and tell them, okay, this is my product, can you support, can you give us the market access? This is what the ISF is doing, and we want to specialize in these three activities. See that we not only create a Sunicorn and Unicorn and Decocons, create more job opportunities for our youngsters, and also wealth creation also happens, not only in the cities like Hyderabad, but everywhere, every town, every village. We should create such entrepreneurs and create that economic activity. Then nobody can stop India's progress. India will definitely become #1 and beating even Silicon Valley. Thank you so much.
This is J.A. Chowdary. I'm the founder and chairman for the International Startup Foundation. Our main goal and objective of ISF is to promote the startup ecosystem in the country by 3 M's. Many startups, early stage startups, they don't have money at the right time. We, through ISF Angels, we are funding them. And also mentoring is also very, very important. So we have more than 500 global mentors in our ecosystem. They will mentor them, see that how their product can be repositioned into the market, and what are the issues they will be guiding them going forward, handhold them. That mentoring is very much required. The third aim is the market access. Most of the startups, they die because they don't have revenue paying customers. That's where, I mean, they need right kind of market access. For example, some startup in a small village, they've got a great product, but they don't know how to get connected to Bombay ecosystem or Bangalore ecosystem or Hyderabad ecosystem, because they can't travel and get connected. That's where through Ankura Yatra, we are going there to those tier 2, tier 3, tier 4 towns in the country, and see how we can enable those rural startups to get the not only funding, get mentoring, and also provide the market access. With these 3M, we want to create a robust startup ecosystem, not only in the cities like Hyderabad, but every town, every village, wherever there are some innovative startups are there, we are ready to mentor them and see that they become successful. They create jobs for the nation, they also create wealth for the nation. That's what we are doing. నా పేరు J.A. చౌదరి. నేను ఈ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్టార్టప్ ఫౌండేషన్కి చైర్మన్ అండ్ ఫౌండర్. ఈ ISF ద్వారా చాలామంది స్టార్టప్ కంపెనీస్, పర్టికులర్గా అర్లీ స్టేజ్లో ఉన్న స్టార్టప్ కంపెనీస్కు ఫండింగు, మార్కెట్ యాక్సెస్, మెంటరింగ్, ఈ 3 చాలా ముఖ్యం. స్టార్టప్ కంపెనీస్ ఇండియాలో సర్వైవ్ కావాలంటే ఆ 3 చాలా చోట్ల దొరకడం లేదు. అందుకని ISF ఈజ్ ఫోకసింగ్ ఓన్లీ ఆన్ దీస్ 3 M's. వన్ ఈజ్ ది మనీ. మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది స్టార్టప్స్కి వాళ్ళ దగ్గర మంచి ఐడియా ఉంది, ప్రోడక్ట్ ఉంది, కానీ డబ్బులు లేవు. సో వాళ్ళకి ఏ విధంగా ISF ఏంజిల్స్ ద్వారా వీఆర్ గెటింగ్ ది ఫండింగ్. తర్వాత మెంటరింగ్, చాలామంది స్టార్టప్స్ ఈ ప్రోడక్ట్ చేస్తే ఇదేదో సూపర్ డూపర్ సక్సెస్ అవుతుందని చెప్పేసి రాంగ్ డైరెక్షన్లో ఆలోచిస్తుంటారు. అక్కడ మెంటరింగ్ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. మా దగ్గర దాదాపు 500 మంది గ్లోబల్ మెంటర్స్ ఆర్ దేర్. దే ఆర్ ఆల్ మెంటరింగ్ దెమ్ టు దీ స్టార్టప్స్. అంటే ప్రతి శనివారము 8:30 to 9:30 there is a one కంపెనీకి మనం ఆపర్చునిటీ ఇస్తున్నాము. ఆ కంపెనీ దే కెన్ గివ్ 1 hour టైంలో వాళ్ళ ప్రోడక్ట్ ఏంటి, వాళ్ళకి ఏం ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ ఉన్నాయి, ఫండింగ్ ప్రాబ్లం ఉందా, మార్కెటింగ్ ప్రాబ్లం ఉందా, అవన్నీ చెప్పిన తర్వాత 500 మంది గ్లోబల్ లీడర్స్ ఫ్రమ్ USA, యూరోప్, సింగపూర్, ఇండియా, దే ఆల్ పార్టిసిపేట్. వాళ్ళు డబ్బులు కావాలంటే డబ్బులు అప్పటికప్పుడు అనౌన్స్ చేస్తున్నారు. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ రీసెంట్లీ జస్ట్ అబౌట్ లాస్ట్ సాటర్డే వన్ కంపెనీ ప్రెజెంటెడ్ దే ఆర్ ఇంటూ డిఫెన్స్కి వాళ్ళు నానో మెటీరియల్స్ ఉపయోగించేసి సూట్స్ సప్లై చేస్తున్నారు, విచ్ ఈస్ మీన్ రేడియేషన్ ప్రూఫ్ అండ్ ఆల్ దట్ దిస్ థింగ్. హీ వాంటెడ్ 10 crores funding for his startup. So within half an hour, 45 minutes time, 10 crore funding was made available to him. Not only that, we are also connecting him to the markets, civil market, defense market. So that's where the advantage what ISF is doing. తర్వాత ఈరోజు అంకుర యాత్ర ఫస్ట్ టైం ఇన్ ది వరల్డ్. ఎందుకు అంకుర యాత్ర అంటే రూరల్ ఏరియాస్లో కూడా చాలామంది మంచి స్టార్టప్స్ వస్తున్నాయి, కానీ వాళ్ళకి ఈ హైదరాబాద్ లాంటి ఎకో సిస్టము, టీహబ్ లాంటి ఎకో సిస్టము, తర్వాత టీవర్స్ లాంటి ఎకో సిస్టమ్ లేదు. తర్వాత ప్రీమియర్ ఇన్స్టిట్యూషన్స్ కూడా రూరల్ ఏరియాస్లో లేదు. అందుకని వాళ్ళంతా చాలా బాధపడుతున్నారు, సార్ మేము హైదరాబాద్కి రాలేము, బెంగళూరు రాలేము, మా కాస్ట్ చాలా ఎక్కువ ఉందని. అందుకని వీళ్ళని ఐఎమ్ టేకింగ్ ఆల్ దిస్ మెంటర్స్ అండ్ ఆల్ దిస్ ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ టు ద రూరల్ ఏరియా త్రూ అంకుర యాత్ర. చాలామంది NRIs హూ బిలాంగ్ టు ద, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నేను అనంతపూర్ నుంచి వచ్చాను, నాతో పాటు చాలామంది 10-20 మంది అనంతపూర్కి వస్తున్నారు. వాళ్ళు అనంతపూర్లో ఏమైనా రూరల్ జాబ్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయాలన్నా, అదేవిధంగా లాక్స్ చెపూర్ అని ఖమ్మం నుంచి వచ్చారు, ఆయన ఖమ్మంలో ఆల్రెడీ చాలా జాబ్స్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తున్నాడు. అక్కడ స్టార్టప్స్ కూడా ఆయన ఈజ్ గోయింగ్ టు ఇన్వెస్ట్ ఇన్ దోస్ స్టార్టప్స్. అట్లా ప్రతి NRI ఇన్వెస్టర్స్ కానీ మెంటర్స్ కానీ వాళ్ళంతా కూడా వాళ్ళ ఓన్ నేటివ్ ప్లేసెస్కి వెళ్ళి అక్కడ ఏ విధంగా రూరల్ జాబ్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు, రూరల్ స్టార్టప్స్ క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు, అది ఒక ముఖ్య ఉద్దేశం. ఎందుకు ఈ అంకుర యాత్ర ఫస్ట్ టైం మన కంట్రీలో, మన ప్రపంచంలోనే ఫస్ట్ టైం ఇట్లా డ్రివన్ బై, మామూలుగా అయితే ఇవన్నీ గవర్నమెంట్ డ్రివన్ ప్రోగ్రామ్స్, ఇది గవర్నమెంట్కి ఏం సంబంధం లేదు. అంత కార్పొరేట్స్ ఆర్ దే వాంట్ టు హెల్ప్. They want to help their own native places, their own native villages, see that more jobs are created in those rural areas. అది అంకుర యాత్ర ద్వారా ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్లో ఫస్ట్ టైం అక్టోబర్ ఫస్ట్ వీక్లో చేస్తున్నాము. తర్వాత అదే అంకుర యాత్ర తెలంగాణ స్టేట్లో కూడా డిసెంబర్లో చేస్తున్నాము. తర్వాత గుజరాత్ స్టేట్లో నెక్స్ట్ ఇయర్ కూడా అంకుర యాత్ర. మన దేశంలో మొత్తం ఎక్కడెక్కడ రూరల్ ఎంటర్ప్రినర్షిప్ ఉందో అక్కడంతా కూడా ISF we want to take this అంకుర యాత్ర to those states.
సరే, 3 days ఎన్ని స్టార్టప్స్ రాబోతున్నాయి, ఎంతమంది ఇన్వెస్టర్స్?
ఈ 3 days సెప్టెంబర్ 26th to 28th 3 days మాకు ఈ ఫ్లాగ్షిప్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ మన హైదరాబాద్లో ఉంది. ఈ 3 days కాన్ఫరెన్స్లో దాదాపు 50,000 మంది స్టార్టప్స్ ఆల్రెడీ అదే రిజిస్టర్డ్ ఫర్ ది పిచ్ కాంటెస్ట్. ఆ 50,000 మంది నుంచి మేము 100 స్టార్టప్స్ ఫైనల్గా సెలెక్ట్ చేస్తున్నాము. ఆ 100 స్టార్టప్స్ 26th డెమో డేకి ఇక్కడ హైదరాబాద్కి వస్తారు. ఆ రోజు ఆ 100 స్టార్టప్స్ని చాలామంది జ్యూరీ మెంబర్స్ అంతా తీసుకొని ఒక 15 కానీ 20 కానీ స్టార్టప్స్ సెలెక్ట్ చేస్తాము ఆ 100లో నుంచి. దట్ మీన్స్ 50,000 నుంచి 15 వరకు తీసుకొస్తున్నాము. ఆ 15 మందిని we are trying to get the funding, market access, mentoring, అవన్నీ చేసి we want to see that all those 15 companies selected are going to be super duper success. That's what we have been doing and that's what we are going to do.
లాగా స్టార్ట్ చేసాము 6 months బిఫోర్. చాలా కంట్రీస్ నుంచి మాకు వస్తున్న ఇన్పుట్ ఏంటంటే, ఇండియా స్టార్టప్సే కాదు, బయట నుంచి వచ్చే ఎన్నో స్టార్టప్స్ కూడా వాళ్ళు ఫండింగ్, మార్కెట్ యాక్సెస్ కోసం చూస్తున్నారు అనమాట. ఎస్పెషలీ US, యూరోప్, సింగపూర్, మిడిల్ ఈస్ట్ నుంచి. సో దెన్ వీ డిసైడెడ్ టు రీనేమ్ దిస్ యాజ్ ఎ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్టార్టప్ ఫౌండేషన్. లాస్ట్ 2 years మేము మా ఫ్లాగ్షిప్ ఈవెంట్స్ బెంగళూరులో చేసాము. వాటి పేరు కూడా ఇండియా స్టార్టప్ ఫెస్టివల్ లాగా చేసాం. దిస్ ఇయర్ వి రీనేమ్డ్ ఇట్ యాజ్ ఎ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్టార్టప్ ఫెస్టివల్. ఇంతకుముందు JA చౌదరి గారు చెప్పినట్టు, మేము ఈ లీడింగ్ టు దిస్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ మేము కర్టన్ రైజర్ ఈవెంట్స్ లైక్ దిస్ వీ హ్యావ్ డన్ మెనీ, అప్రాక్సిమేట్లీ 6 to 7 చేసాము. పూణేలో చేసాము, న్యూజెర్సీలో చేసినప్పుడు 250+ CXOs mostly everybody is billionaire company CEOs. They have attended in New Jersey conference. వాళ్ళందరూ అటెండ్ అయ్యి we are going to support 100% for this కాన్ఫరెన్స్ అని చెప్పారు. అండ్ మోస్ట్ ఇంపార్టెంట్లీ వీ స్టార్టెడ్ అవర్ ఈ ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్టార్టప్ ఫౌండేషన్ అమెరికాలో కూడా రిజిస్టర్ చేసాం, నాట్ జస్ట్ ఇన్ ఇండియా. సో ఇండియాతో పాటు ఇప్పుడు అమెరికాలో కూడా ఇంటర్నేషనల్ స్టార్టప్ ఫౌండేషన్ ఉంది. అక్కడ కూడా మేము ఎవ్రీ ఇయర్ కాన్ఫరెన్సెస్ చేయబోతున్నాం. బట్ ఫ్లాగ్షిప్ కాన్ఫరెన్స్ అనేది ఇక్కడే జరుగుతుంది. ఇప్పుడు ఫస్ట్ 2 years బెంగళూరులో చేసాం, ఇప్పుడు హైదరాబాదు, నెక్స్ట్ గుజరాత్లో అండ్ జమైకాలో చేసాం. జమైకాలో చేసినప్పుడు డిప్యూటీ ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్ ఆఫ్ జమైకా హ్యాస్ అటెండెడ్ యాజ్ ఎ చీఫ్ గెస్ట్ for our conference, and you can go to our website isfnetwork.org. మీకు అన్నీ క్లియర్గా ఏ కంట్రీ ప్రెసిడెంట్స్, ప్రైమ్ మినిస్టర్స్ మన కాన్ఫరెన్స్ అటెండ్ అయ్యారో అవన్నీ కూడా చూస్తారు మీరు. అదొకటే కాదు, ఇప్పుడు మన ఈ సెప్టెంబర్లో జరిగే కాన్ఫరెన్స్కి చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్ ఆఫ్ తెలంగాణ రేవంత్ రెడ్డి గారు ఈజ్ కమింగ్ యాజ్ ఎ చీఫ్ గెస్ట్. అలాంగ్ విత్ దట్ మనకి యూనియన్ ఏవియేషన్ మినిస్టర్ రామ్మోహన్ నాయుడు హ్యాస్ కన్ఫర్మ్ దట్ హీస్ గోయింగ్ టు బీ హియర్ యాజ్ చీఫ్ గెస్ట్ ఫర్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద ప్లీనరీ సెషన్స్. అండ్ మనకి చంద్ర పెమ్మసాని రూరల్ డెవలప్మెంట్ మినిస్టర్ యూనియన్ MOS తను కూడా కన్ఫర్మ్ చేశారు. ఇన్ఫ్యాక్ట్ మేము ఇలాంటి కర్టెన్ రైజరే 31st of this month విజయవాడలో చేస్తున్నాం ఫర్ అంకుర్ యాత్ర. దానికి చంద్ర పెమ్మసాని గారు కర్టెన్ రైజర్కి చీఫ్ గెస్ట్గా కూడా వస్తున్నారు అనమాట. అండ్ వన్ లాస్ట్ థింగ్, అంకుర్ యాత్ర October 1st మాకు KL యూనివర్సిటీలో ఆన్ స్టేజ్ జరుగుతుంది. దానికి పవన్ కళ్యాణ్ గారు డిప్యూటీ చీఫ్ మినిస్టర్ ఆఫ్ ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ ఈజ్ గోయింగ్ టు బి ద చీఫ్ గెస్ట్ ఫర్ దట్ ఈవెంట్. అదండి.